Welcome back, everybody. It's Scott with Founding Champions, and I finally have made a video about my winning deck list. So, as you all know, I went to Gencon 2018, and I took down the standard, or the constructed portion of the event. There was on Saturday, there was over 40 players. There was a lot more people than they thought was going to show up. They actually had to turn a few players away. It was run by Brian, so shout outs to him. Mad props because it was like a community event backed by Play Fusion. I think Willie's already made a post about how well received this game has been, and just the overwhelming positive feedback from about the game. And we've been selling stuff online. When I say we, I mean me and like a few other other stores have been selling stuff online. It's been just exploding. We can't keep stuff in stock. If you remember my other video, well, I've only got one box left. I got that one box because I had to raise the price so I wouldn't, the listing wouldn't go away. I wouldn't have to relist it. So I'm waiting for that restock to come in. I know my restock should be in tomorrow, and Matthews from Queen City Gaming, his restock is also going to be in tomorrow. But we're going to have those things ready to go real soon. And without further ado, I'm going to get into my deck. I play Destruction, if any of you didn't know. The Destruction deck is, on paper and by first view, a pretty good looking deck. A lot of the cards just kind of do what they do. Not much combo going on. There's a little bit of combo. I'll show you some of those combos real soon. And I actually called the deck No Combo Orcs because the only combo in the deck really that I view as a legitimate combo is not an Orc card. So there's just Orc good stuff, as what some people might call it. And I'm really happy to show you this video. I'm going to go first. I'm going to start off with the champions. Then I'm going to go through the blessings, and then I'll tell you more about why I chose some of the blessings, some of the champions, a little bit what they do, and then the cards. Alright, so let's get right into it. The first card I'm going to show you that I played with was War Boss Recruiter. Really good card. Uncommon, but it seems to be a little harder to pull. It feels more rare than uncommon. So I have that. And the reason why I chose this guy is that, if y'all didn't know, you can only play with 20 points worth of champions. And he's a 5. So every champion in my deck is 5, so it equates to be 20. And that's some of the part of the reason why I chose them. Another part of the reason why I chose the War Boss Recruiter is because he says heroic deck, draw one card face up. So, if you pass on action, you draw a card. Well, in this effect that, okay, your opponent gets to see it, so they can kind of see what you're planning. But there's a second effect to it. It says, if it's an Orc unit, you may deploy it onto this champion. That's really good. That pretty much gives you 2-for-1 actions in one guy. That allows you to do that one per turn. Now, you can only do heroic deck once, and I do have 2 of them in my deck. I've got 2 of these guys in my deck. You're like, well, why? You can only use heroic deck once. Well, on one turn I'll use it, play a guy, or maybe draw a card, and then on the second turn I'll use the other War Boss Recruiter. See how that works there? And I can use the effect even if there's already a unit in that lane. If it's stacking, it'll go on top of it. And I did check with the judge to make sure that is allowed. So if he's got stacking and an Orc, he can go on top of the base unit. And that is just mega value. And like I said, so you're going to play a unit. If it does damage, it's going to rotate. And then it's going to rotate this way. And then, maybe get another Orc stacking unit, rotates again. And then you play another unit, rotates again. The hardest one to rotate is that removal slot. However, I'll go into a little bit of how you can activate this to rotate it. A lot of the time, the War Boss Recruiter got stuck like this. So next, we'll go into the other 2 cards I used. It's 2 of the same again. I used 2 Riptooth Mega Bosses, and this card is I would call it a turbo quest card, because his ability is that he rotates to help complete his quest when you remove another unit. let's see, let's go with the actual verbiage here. Progress this champion's quest one step forwards whenever it removes one or more highlighted units, even if the card that applied the remove also progressed the quest. Yeah, say that 5 times fast. So I'll show you the little combo that goes on with that. And again, you're going to do it real quick. So it's just going to be, let me show you here. That's the Riptooth Mega Boss. Yeah. So we're going to just play a unit, damage them, play an ability, and then damage them again. That's really easy. There's no removing needed. You're just going to get that ability off just like that. Just by playing the game, it's going to rotate. So it's pretty good. So those 4 cards. I'm going to go over to the blessings now. And again, I do have all these cards on my eBay store. Now, the common cards and a lot of the uncommon cards are not on my eBay store yet. I don't know what the demand for commons and uncommons are at this point. I do have a lot of inquiries about uncommons and commons, but I don't know if I am going to really pull the trigger to sell those. It takes a lot of time to sort of organize and list those cards. But I do plan on having, select ones, so feel free to send me a message on Facebook, eBay, wherever, inquiring about commons and uncommons. If I see a lot of people asking, I'll put them up. And but I do have foils of death, foils of destruction, and then destruction rares. And as at the time of this video, that's what I have. By the time you watch this video, I'll probably have a lot more or a lot less, because people are buying it. I've already had people buy cards while I was trying to make set up for this video. So that's that, and we're gonna go into the quests. So the first one is Ushering of the Wall. I don't know, is that a surprise? I don't know, maybe. It's just, you draw 3 cards face up and you play dudes. That's up to like 6 free actions. If you got a card that says turn it over, get 6 free actions, would you play it? This is better because you draw them at the beginning of, right when it happens, which is either at the beginning of your turn or during your opponent's turn. And then your cards will rotate after that. So, pretty good. Cruising for a Bruising is one of my favorites because it just nugs them straight for 12. That's about 1/3 of their total health, or a little more than 1/3. 12 points. So your orcs are leaving the battlefield, or whatever they call it, the field, the lanes, whatever, and just 2 gotta leave, and they're gonna get nugged for 12. Now, if you do have a stacking unit that's got 2 support, it's not gonna trigger 3 times or those 2 times. It's gonna trigger that 1 time for the top guy, and I did ask the judge that. Let's see, Prophet of the Wall is the 3rd one I'm gonna go over. Hope you guys can see that. I don't know if you can read it from this distance. I'm new, I'm amateur content maker. Who gave this guy a camera? Prophet of the Wall. Gain additional actions this turn. Highlighted allies are no longer restricted to using 1 heroic act per turn. So I can just straight up use my 2 Orc War Boss recruiters to just replenish the field. So it's kind of like getting 4 actions in a turn just by using them, because it's essentially drawing me 2 cards and potentially playing out 2 dudes. So that's up to like 4 actions just by doing that. And I guess that's a combo, but I don't know if you really want to be relying on combos on these blessings, because it's kind of hard to plan a blessing. You just kind of flip it over and hope for the best. And if you're hoping for a damage blessing and you get Prophet of the Wall, you might be sad. I did flip this over and wish it was nug 'em for 12. So just keep that in mind on what kind of blessings you choose. And then the last one is Smash and Bash. I flipped this one over a lot. It does 5 damage and then has another effect. I did like the 5 damage, but rotate highlighted units to their final corner. That sounds really combo-y, but let me tell you, when you're playing a stacking deck, it's not that good, because a lot of times your units are gone, and then you have like Orc Shield Bashers in your hand, and you're just like, okay, well, I'll do 1 to you and prevent 1, and the next 2 turns I do nothing. So it's okay. I picked it for the damage. You can really do some play testing and swap that out with something else that you like a little bit better than this card. Okay, those are those. Those are those. The next card I'm going to go over is the Prowling Wolf. This is a non-orc card, and in top 4, so you really have to make sure non-orc. So in top 4, my opponent, he was two turns away from losing the game. He thought he was just one turn. He thought once he passed his turn, he lost the game. And the reason he thought that is because I had Cruising for a Bruising face up, and when this goes away, or that's what he thought, when this goes away, he'd take 12. He'd take the 3 from this and then the 12. That's not, in fact, how it works. He was another turn, because I had other dudes in the field that just weren't leaving, other orcs on the field that just weren't leaving yet. So he scooped up his cards. We did take a look to see if it would have made a difference if he had that one extra turn. There was no stopping my Cruising for a Bruising, because if they leave for any reason, they're taking 12. Okay, so and he was below 12. So 3 damage from this, So there was no way he was actually going to stop himself from losing, even with that extra turn. So with that said, this card is basically, if any of you played Yu-Gi-Oh! I played Yu-Gi-Oh! When it first came out, first set, Legend of Blue Eyes, Trap Hole. So Trap Hole says when they summon a guy, he dies, This card is about the same. So let me tell you what it says. It says here, I'll let you read along. When the highlighted champion deploys a unit, remove it and deal damage to your opponent. Exhaust this unit. And if they don't play a guy, you can just heroic act, damage to your opponent, exhaust this unit. So it's going to nug him for 3 and kill a guy. So in some cases, it's better than Trap Hole. Now, when they have to deploy the unit, it's highlighted. So watch out for any cards that put things into play that don't call it deploying, because otherwise you get into a sort of rules question, and you want to make sure you know what you're doing before you put your deck together and play a few games with it. Or you can just go on the app and just find out the hard way. So this is a rare. I do have 2 of these left on eBay, guys. I only got 2. This card is really good. A lot of people have already seen how good it is, and they're grabbing them up. Okay. The next card I'm going to go over, throw these down here, is Mosh Pit. It is a rare also. I do have a few of these on eBay. You can get a playset right now. They haven't sold at the time of filming this video, so I will link my eBay. If you want to go search for it right now, it is RANDOM, so it's random-man, M-A-N. So Random Man, that's my eBay name. You can see the little symbol. So if you see your bottom right corner, there's that little symbol there. It's the same symbol I use on eBay. So look for the symbol, look for Random Man, and you'll see. I've been around since 2009 selling some stuff. Took a little break, but I'm back selling things. Got great feedback, 100% at the moment. So I haven't been scammed or anything yet, so which is thankful. Thank you. And no one's been stealing any cards yet from me. So go ahead and go on eBay. Take a look at these. This card here, it's an ability, so it triggers the ability portion of my cards, which I do have some abilities on them that need to be triggered to rotate them for their quest. 3 damage to your opponent. Increase this by the support of highlighted unit. Okay, so you need to make sure you use this when you have a highlighted unit that has like a support 2 right at the moment. So you can do 5 damage to them. Okay, it's going to do 3 damage if they don't have anything there. Discard the top card from your opponent's deck. In a long control-y type matchup, you can try and maybe go for having your opponent run out of cards. I haven't seen that yet, but I have played against some slow decks, and if there was some extra time in the round, which is right now there's only 35 minutes to play one game, or that's how it was at Gencon, that never came up. The closest I got was about 5 minutes from time being called. The game ended naturally. So, play a little quick sometimes. That's Mosh Pit, rare, very good card. Awesome, awesome, awesome effect. And next we're going to go into an uncommon here. It's Wa Channer. I do have this foil. This is going to be one of the best cards in Orcs. And you can, he's part of the reason why I don't call it no combo Orc. There's no combo. You just gain extra actions. That's extra cards, that's extra dudes, that's whatever. So it pretty much means draw a card a turn almost. I don't know, probably not. I'm just kind of relating that to Magic, but it's just giving you an extra action, which is huge in this game. And he's only an uncommon, guys. I'm going to try and put some of those up on my eBay site. That's not foil. I do have a foil left, and it's going to go quick, guys. So I do recommend going there and taking a look. So those 3 cards, and let's see, the next card I want to go over, I did mention some cards. Some of those cards are really obvious. I do have Deadly Chop in my deck that is really good at rotating the quest of the Mega Boss. Let me show you. The Rip Tooth Mega Boss. I know there's a bunch of different Mega Bosses, guys, but he's the Rip Tooth. His tooth is ripped. So use that to help rotate him, and he does rotate if the card dealt damage or something, because he does some damage corners. So you can rotate the Mega Boss like twice, and it's going to be once off of his effect and once off your card effect. So it does allow you to do that. I know you, in one turn, one card cannot rotate a guy twice. I understand, but it has a little flavor text in the bottom, a little parentheses telling you that it will essentially rotate twice in certain situations. So if you play a creature that's, let's say, like Sweeping Gorgrunta, that allows it to rotate, and then it rotates this way, it does a damage to them, and it removes the guy. So it's going to do the damage to rotate him, remove a guy, to have the War Boss effect rotate him again. And that's how it was explained to me, and that's how Light Seekers and the other judges for, you know, I've had 2 judges tell me this, okay, and I've had a lot of players agree. So I think we're all in agreement that that's how that works. If it doesn't, they will, you know, I don't know why they would put the little parentheses telling us. So it's sort of a broken effect, but there is that parentheses, that clause that tells us that you can do this. And I'm not going to really go through the rest of the deck, guys. It's pretty self-explanatory. I played I'll just play some good cards. If you think, hey, that's a pretty good card, you know, put it in the deck. And I'm sure you can get through the rest of it. You know, I don't want this format to become too solved, right? So, you know, if you want the rest of the deck and some other tips, tricks, insights, feel free to send me a message, especially if you've liked and subscribed to the video. You know, turn the little bell icons on, and maybe I'll give you a little more in the future. I'm thinking about putting up a Patreon, just something really small, low threat, and then I can go into more depth. I can tell you what the rest of the cards are. I do have more cards in this deck in different numbers, so and I want to go over that and put those in there just for a little bit. That way you can see, you know, full in depth. I have an article that I want to put on there so that you can have some reading to do, some extra videos, extra tips and tricks, and, you know, do something like just something awesome, like maybe like a Warhammer, you know, loot crate, and I think that'll be pretty sweet. And I just want to give some good value to you guys. Like maybe like, you know, $15 loot crate for giving you $16 worth of product and some kind of random mystery items or something. And I think that'll be pretty sweet, and that'll get some real big excitement in the game, some skin in the game, and some people just sort of subscribing to the game and to build it. So, you know, if people's player retention is big about building the game, new players is big. So new players plus retention means the game grows. That's something that Magic is having a hard time with, is that they're having a hard time with retention and having a hard time getting new players. This game currently is not having a hard time getting new players whatsoever, and nobody's talking about leaving the game. You know, in a lot of other card games, people talk about, oh, I'm leaving the game for this reason. I haven't seen any of those yet. I haven't seen any. So this game is growing, guys. I just wanted you guys to take me seriously because I wore a tie. I wore a nice shirt. So go to eBay, take a look at my stuff, take a look at my wares. You know, got lots of cool things, you know, for sale, and just keep your eyes open for new and future videos. And thanks for watching.